Sports Live is brought to you by All In CDO Training, the future of commercial driving. Earn your Class A and Class B license and endorsements with courses online and in person in the city of Long Beach. Call or visit the website 909-708-4861, www.allincdotraining.com. If you're unemployed, underemployed, or just want to change a career, scholarships are available, so don't worry about the cost. Give them a call. All In CDO Training, the future of commercial driving. AC Sports Live is also brought to you by Mood Swing Apparel, DEM Clothing. Dominate every matchup, period. Check them out, Mood Swing Apparel on Instagram. AC Sports Live is also brought to you by Cannon Nation Boxing. If you want to learn the sweet science of boxing, or if you just want to get a real good workout in, working out and training with pros, check out CannonNationBoxing.com and become the best version of yourself today.
He ain't never slumber, never put him to the test. He be reigning king forever, resurrected after death. All praise to God, brother, say it with your chest. Say it with your chest, all praise to the one.
Yes, sir.
All right. We in the building Tuesday, the 13th of August. I don't know what we're going to do with our lives now, man. The Olympics are over. Used to come home, hop on Peacock, and catch all the replays of the races that were in the middle of the night last night. The basketball game that was on in the middle of the night. Small little part of me is missing the Olympics. The Olympics brought back a sense of pride in the American flag. And then I saw Tyrese sing the national anthem for the Rams and the Cowboys in full costume, as if he was Marvin Gaye. And I'm not sure how I felt about it. I'm not sure how you felt about it. Some things you just need to leave alone. This is AC Sports Live, man. I'm AC, and I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me week after week. Good to be back in the saddle. SG Trilogy in here. My brother, my other brother in Idaho. Sweet, long snapping, toe tapping Rubio of the Rubio Method. It is showtime, my friend. Oh man, I'm back in the classroom, man. So I'm back in the saddle. What am I getting myself into? I have no idea, man. I'm doing what I know how to do, teaching video production and film. So let's see if we can get these young whippersnapper, young rapper nippers. What was it? You use a young rapper whippersnapper. You ain't been through nothing. You don't know how to film. You don't know how to write. I'm gonna have to teach you. I'm gonna teach these young folks how to create a proper video. Tyrese's rendition was not it. Please talk about that on the culture this week on the Collective Podcast. The culture is going to touch upon the Tyrese debacle. I only saw a few clips of it, but I saw him with the beard and the wig, and I was like, "Come on, man! Come on, Tyrese! Don't do it, man!" And he did. Man, don't do it to yourself. All right, tonight's show, man. Like I said, I'm trying to fill the void of the Olympics being over. I'll fill that void because Mookie's back. Mookie's back, so we can get back to talking about the Dodgers next week. Tonight's show is basically about the Olympics and the dominance, the shortcomings, I'm gonna focus on the positive, man. The great parts. We spoke about gymnastics and the greatness of Simone Biles. I want to give some of our track athletes some love. Our relays in particular, 3 out of 4. Let's start with the women, ladies first. Well, let's start real quick. Shout out to Snoop Doggy Dogg. He had the best Olympic experience of us all. Here he is with a rugby superstar. She doesn't know if he knew who she was, but apparently he did. I have her name here somewhere. It was what's the rugby young lady's name? I just had it, so we can give her due. She became an instant fan favorite because of her presence, her personality. I'll find it at some point. She had a great time. But the women of the United States put on a show. And shout out to Rick Burgess for sending me this little tidbit. Long Beach in the house. Wilson High School has had an athlete in every Olympic Games over the past 72 years. Think about that. Little Wilson High School on the east side of Long Beach, right near Long Beach State, has produced at least one athlete to participate in the Olympics every year since 1972. Now, that's not only track and field, that's also water polo, soccer, the country club events. Shout out to Rick Burgess, the king of J's, Air Jordans, that is. I believe he's in Africa. You see a white guy wearing a Boston Celtics jersey in Africa, that's Rick Burgess. Appreciate that tidbit. The 4x400 meter relay, if that wasn't the most dominating, incredible exhibit of talent, and I'm a mile relay person. I love the sprint relay, but the mile relay is where it's at. These young ladies put on a show. Sydney McLaughlin-Lavergne, it's not fair. She's a cheat code, man. Shamira Little started it off with a grit, strong leg, handing it off to Sydney. And I'm not going to play any videos because the Olympics will shut your video down. The Olympics will shut the whole thing down. You got Gabby Thomas, who was not even a quarter miler. She's a 200-meter runner, but she still ran a very impressive time. I believe they were all under 50. They came in at a time of 3:15.27, beating most high school men's teams. Very, very impressive. Well, as G said, her name is Ayanna Mayer, the rugby athlete. I appreciate it. I had that written down somewhere. I didn't want to misstep. I got Leon Frazier in here. What's going on, my good brother? My Sixers jersey, yes, it's time to bring out Dr. J. The doc is in the building. Rubio says, if you could compete in one Olympic sporting event besides boxing, basketball, or track, what would it be and why? Great question. It definitely won't be breakdancing. That's a great question, man. Something that I have not thought about. I wouldn't mess with swimming. I wouldn't mess with diving. I wouldn't even attempt taekwondo, wrestling, no way, weightlifting, no way. That's a good one, man. I have to come back to it. Because there are some events that I did not know were Olympic events. Like rock climbing, indoor rock climbing, doubles ping pong. Why are there doubles on a very small ping pong table? It was irritating to watch. Leon says they were awesome. Yeah, they were awesome, man. Now the 4x1, just as impressive, anchored by none other than Sha'Carri Richardson. So we give these young ladies their flowers as well. Gabby Thomas running that crazy curve. I'm not sure how she does it because she's so tall. TT Terry runs an incredible second leg. And out the blocks, Melissa Jefferson running an outstanding leg. And Sha'Carri Richardson she's just a savage, man. She's just a savage. She's like a bad little girl. Like us girl dads, we kind of know when your daughter's acting up a little bit. And sometimes you just gotta smirk and laugh because you know you got a little girl who's gonna do some things to test you. Daddy's gonna protect me. Daddy's gonna support me no matter what I do. And you get that little ornery little girl who's gonna do something that makes you shake your head. And see, I'm not gonna show the video because they're gonna show the video down. But you all watched the race where she got the baton and she was behind by 4 or 5 meters, and she had to catch up to these young ladies, and she did. And she gave them the side eye. That's Sha'Carri Richardson, man. When she's confident and in her zone, she's the best in the world. But when she has some adversity and some circumstances she can't control, you see the entire face changes. And she is now that little girl, that scared little girl who needs her support. And later on in the show, I'm going to talk about using your support systems. And we saw it with Simone Biles. Her family was there, her husband was there, and she performed. As soon as her husband left, she fell off the beam. It's wild how that works, man. Sha'Carri had her routine changed for the 100-meter race. But for the 4x1, she was back in savage mode. Now the men, okay, the 4x400, I'm gonna start there with the bright spot. They did their thing. The 4x400 team of Chris Bailey, Vernon Norwood, Bryce Dedman, and Rye Benjamin ran a time that was second all time. That is incredible. A time of 2:54.43. That means you had a couple of 43s in there. When we ran the 4x4 and we were going to state, but we got disqualified for our first leg running out the lane, we ran a 3:12 in high school. They beat us by 18 seconds. Think about that. That's almost like half a lap. And we were rolling. I ran a 47. My man Brian Woodward ran a 46, 45. And we had two 48s, or a 48 and a 49. These dudes was rolling, man. Shout out to young Quincy Wilson, who ran the initial heat, qualifying heat for the men's 4x4. Now, he did not run his best race. He ran a 47.8, and he runs 44. This goes back to when we first talked about him on the AC Sports Live show. Technique, the moment being super huge. The moment was too big. You're sitting around for a week waiting for your turn to run. He's probably never been to Paris. I've never been to Paris per se. I've been to Europe, but I've been around, but I've never been to Paris. Who knows what kind of food they were eating? He went out there and came around the turn in what, 7th place? Got the baton to Vernon Norwood, and he was able to make up some ground, and they eventually got 2nd place in that heat, which all you have to do is be top 3. And they try to drag my man Quincy Wilson in social media that he was going to cost the 4x4 the title, but they weren't going to run him in the final unless necessary. And you still had Michael Norman on the sideline too. But they brought home the gold. Now, we're going to go tender love with the men's 4x100. As G said, they had some talent. And it was all around, man. Great Britain, France, and the Netherlands. Have I been saying the Netherlands the wrong way for my whole life? Is it Netherlands with the N-E-D? That's how it was spelled on the uniforms. The Queen Elaine is in the building. OG Rodney Sauce is in the building. What's up, brothers? Breakdancing needs to be suspended for now. I think it's done. And we're getting to that. They need to add competitive craps for Shorty Doo-Wop, Craig and them, Bo Rock, Tupu, all my dad's homeboys, and shooting dice. It was flying, said the Queen. Just get rid of breakdancing. Looked like a segment of Hollywood Shuffle. Camo Walk Tommy, Cookie Head Jenkins. You a friend of his? Yeah, you can say that. Get knocked out. They shouldn't have put the youngster first. They had to. You have to put your weakest. They couldn't have put him second unless you're going to put a very strong runner as 1 and 2 to give yourself a lead. But then you run the risk of him getting hawked, and you're asking your anchor to catch a bunch of people. You want your anchor to have a comfortable distance to make up. I think you see this in the co-ed relays when a coach might have an idea to put some speed first, and then you put in your slower runner, which would be the young lady, and she has a 45-meter lead and she still gets hawked. If you put Quincy anywhere but first, because second leg you must be strong because you have to reach the cone and cut across. That's why Norwood is second leg. He's an old veteran. He can do it. If anything, maybe third. But I think first is safest, because if you got 3 dudes that know they got to make up stagger, that changes your mentality. And you kind of know going in that youngster needs us to pull him through. And they kind of knew going in that he's not going to run in the final. And he knew that too. So he couldn't have been heartbroken. He was super excited to watch his boys run. He still gets a gold medal. Coaching for these U.S. teams was terrible. You going to jump on Steve Kerr's back? Rube said he should have done the Usain Bolt diet of 100 nuggets per day. For the kid? A kid eating 100 nuggets a day. It'd been like a kid playing video games all day, all night, and coming outside, trying to run a 40 under 5 seconds. Yes, in his case, make him second. Second is dangerous, man. Third might have been the only one that I might have thought about, because by that time you have your nice little lead. But again, you can't give your anchor 5 dudes to catch, at the most 3, because you're talking about the best athletes in the world. And the other countries have caught up. It's no longer automatic. Everybody's running 45, 46 now. So it's definitely a different day. Now, Tender Love Report, the 4x100 men's. This right here is getting ridiculous. They haven't won a 4x100 meter relay in forever. Kung Fu Kenny, because Coleman ran his part. I don't know what, and I know he was trying to be, he's trying to be kind and not totally blame his teammate, Kung Fu Kenny. I think his last name is Batarak or something like that. Dude with the headband. And Lewis Johnson was asking him, so what happened getting that baton around? We just didn't get it done. That's not what hey, that's a generic, not throw my boy under the bus answer, and I get it. He's standing right next to you and he feels bad, as he should. So Otto Bolden, UCLA Bruins, broke down the race from an overhead view. I'm not going to show it, so I'm going to get shut down. The Olympics don't play. Kung Fu Kenny, in all his experience, took off at least 2 strides too early. The zone is not long enough for you to make that kind of mistake, moving at those speeds. And Coleman running as fast as he was running, maybe that made Kung Fu Kenny nervous. But the second leg is so crucial because that's where you open up and you run the longest distance. You run about 110. And he just had a brain fart, man. I feel bad for him. But at that level, there's no excuse. Mentally, you run like a horse, man. Super fast, very consistent. But them going in knowing they had baton problems. I mean, he ran all the way up his back. For professionals, this makes no sense. So Kung Fu Kenny, you are on the Tender Love Report today, my brother. Sad to say, you should be on the microphone saying, I left too early. This is on me. It won't happen next time. In LA 2028. Newsflash, I'm not sure if you brothers going to be on the team. Fred Curley, maybe. You know, when Noah Lyles goes down, and we'll just keep that going. Noah Lyles on the Tender Love Report. Not because you caught COVID, because you jumped out the gate like everything was sweet, jumping around, running around before the race, get yourself pumped up, and came in 3rd place, which is no slap, no, you know, it's still 3rd fastest in the world. But if you got that kind of energy to jump around and act crazy, and all of a sudden you lose, and now your heart hurts, your chest hurts, your throat hurts, your head hurts, your head is swimming. That to me looks like that pride was hurt a little bit. So Noah Lyles, sit down somewhere. And while we're talking about Noah Lyles, if you've seen his invitation to the Adidas event for Anthony Edwards, he turned it down. Bruh, you're an Olympic athlete. Your opportunities to make bread and to make friends and to network are limited. Take your hind part to the Adidas event for Anthony Edwards as they unveil his shoe. I think this happened a time ago. And he says, I'm not going to an event. He hasn't even made it to the finals yet. Oh, bro. You must really have a problem with basketball players. Adidas is going to pay you. You might get a shoe next. But if you're going to act like a kid who's bitter and petty, that's not marketable. Ant-Man is the hottest name in sports, even though he didn't make the game-winning shot in the Olympics. He's still the young, hot, hip guy that they're promoting as the next face. He just passed up John Morant. He's passed up Every old head that was been the face of the NBA as of the last 10 years or so is now Ant-Man. You're both on Adidas. Adidas has an event where there will be cameras. But you say no. All right, man. Pride will come before the fall. That's in the word. I ain't make that up. Dr. Fraser said it's lack of focus. Sometimes the moment is just too big. As G said, they got smoked. Don't get smoked, man. It's the Olympics. Don't get smoked. That's forever. And there were reports that he was partying a couple of days later. Yeah, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Don't be that dude. Don't be that guy. Looking for an immediate excuse. Don't be him. You can't run if you had been diagnosed. You can't run if you've been diagnosed with COVID. That's selfish, not thinking about the other runners. Well, doctors cleared him to run because the athletes are in such great shape they won't get severely affected by COVID if they were to catch it. Ain't that funny how that works? During the pandemic, if you caught COVID, you can't go to work for 10 days and then you got to test negative before you return back to work. And you got to wear masks and you got to socially distance and you still got to be like a registered sick offender. It was funny, man. I think Rubio was like, man, I'm not wearing a mask. It's silly. The air is still getting around your mask. You're still inhaling it. And I'm like, hey, man, I get it. I get it. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but that's what the rules were. I worked in the school district and they had rules. If I wanted to keep my job, I had to adhere to the rules. I could have pulled a Kyrie and said my religious background, but I got my shots at a church. My entire church went to my buddy's Coach Parker's church, and we got vaccinated. So I could keep my job. AC2 in the building. What's up, youngster? As G said, Lyles was getting his Soul Train on after his episode, and that's why it looks bad. It doesn't look good at all. He's even being challenged now. Tyreek Hill said, I would beat Noah Lyles in the race. I believe Tyreek Hill could beat Noah Lyles in about 50 meters. But I think at top end speed, Noah Lyles is way too fast for Tyreek Hill. So anything after 50, at 75, 80, it's over with. Because Tyreek is the quickest player I've ever seen. But his technique is pretty raggedy. Versus the best in the world, I don't know. You're talking about 9.7 speed. I think Tyreek Hill's best time was 10.1, 10.2. So yeah, Noah Lyles, you open your mouth and say crazy stuff, this is what you get, bro. This is just what you get. Rube said, if the rules were you needed to wear a mask walking in a restaurant, but sitting down, you were fine. Does that even sub 60 Ed was fine at all times? That means sub 60 Ed was fine at all times because he was below that COVID only spread 5 feet and higher. Anything when you sat down and took your mask off to eat, you were good to go. It really did have a lot of contradiction to it, but thank God we got through it and we're able to live life once again. And COVID is back. People getting COVID. Like I've known people recently who've gotten COVID, and the chest is hurting. They're losing their sense of smell and taste, but they're not, in so much pain that there's a need for a respirator and things like that. So I think we got it under control. Men's and women's basketball bring home the gold medal. The ladies had a little scare winning their gold medal match by a point. And I'm like, well, I had to go back and watch the replay because I had church on Sunday and they played on Sunday. But 67-66 to France. Asia Wilson putting in 21, 13 boards and 4 blocks. There's no question she's the best player in the world. But Ms. Copper brought in 12 and 5. but she brought her A game, and France gave up a pretty good run for their money. But women's hoops continues their dominance. Men's hoops once again bring home the gold, and they were tested a little bit for a while. It was getting a little bit touch and go for a second, but then Chef Curry began to cook and ended up with 24 points, and they were all 3-pointers. And when Steph Curry gets in demon mode, there's nothing you can do. Well, some people say God mode. I prefer God mode, where he is shooting over 2 7-footers and hitting bottoms. LeBron James gets the MVP because he did lead the team. Even though stats-wise, he wasn't always, the leader points. KD had some moments in there. Embiid had some moments in there. But when it counted, when it was on the line, it was this kid who was his first time gold medal. His last attempt, because he's getting old too. Steph Curry's no spring chicken. Steph Curry's 34 years old. This might be it. Does he want to play till he's 40 like LeBron? LeBron gets his 3rd gold medal. KD gets his 4th. I don't know. But shout out to half of the Splash Brothers for playing lights out. If Steph Curry did not get hot, we wonder where was the scoring going to come from. That was the question. And then you say, well, why did LeBron get the MVP if Steph Curry was so valuable? Early on, LeBron James carried his team. He was getting to the basket, dunking on people, getting buckets, leading, screaming. I just wish he would have dyed his beard, because that gray beard makes him look so old. It makes him look ancient, man. And I'm 10 years older than LeBron. You should not look older than me. Now, there were some signs of Bron's age. France had a ball player who could care less about LeBron's legacy. He tried to end Bron.
Gold medal game. Yabusele. Oh!
Yabusele.
The gold medal game. Yabusele. Oh!
That's the only Olympic clip I'm going to show. Yabusele. Yabusele. The Lakers better sign Yabusele. Rob Pelinka should have been calling him at halftime. That big brother was putting in work. I was like, man, the Sixers could use him. Anybody that had a bully issue, there's your bully right there. Big, strong, 6'8", 260, does not care about any manner of human life underneath the basket. He went for his, man. He went for his. Frazier said, it all sounds good, but how many people died from it? Dr. Frazier, we'll never know, because they stopped taking flu and bronchitis statistics during COVID. So everything that was the flu was COVID. Everything that was strep throat, bronchitis, and it was diagnosing. It was, I'm not saying COVID wasn't real. I'm just saying we'll never know how many actual cases and then how many of those deaths, those mysterious deaths at the hospital were actually COVID. So again, I'm not a believer in doctors. I'll use their services, but I still remember they are just practicing. They don't know. I believe I had the first case of COVID and my doctor didn't know what it was. They're practicing. Men's and women's coaching was terrible. Steve Kerr said, I'm not playing Jason Tatum. I don't like him. I'm not playing this the finals star, because he wasn't the MVP. Jaylen Brown was, and he wasn't even on the team. Now, I know he wasn't going to be able to sit Jaylen Brown. If he would have played, he'd have been in his face. Rodney Saw said it was terrible. SG said LeBron James is 137 years old and still gets it. Still get it in. 137 years old. I said, Frank Sinatra, you hang up with Joe Louis. How old is Joe Louis? He said, 137 years old. 137 years old. Rubio is giving me some information that I need to stop talking about it, or I'm going to get docked. They're going to kick me out. I'm a rebel without a pause like Chuck D. They got to have to come get me. I'm not an easy win. They're going to have to come to my house and get my tapes. Captain Brown went to work. Captain L'America, LeBron. Captain L'America. Women's coach was Clark's Indiana coach to ensure she's in place for the next Olympics. Well, they've already got the team picked out. It's going to be Caitlin Clark, Juju Watkins, Paige Beckers. They're going to also have Angel Reese. They're also going to have Cameron Brink. All those social media stars will be on the team. And I'm not mad. He give you 6 more veterans. That's a pretty good team. Well done, SG. Well done. AC2 said they say that performance put Curry over Magic for best point guard of all time. I wouldn't say all that. I don't even see Curry as a point guard. I see Curry as a shooting guard. Point guard is pretty much a thing of the past, because now point guards score so much. Are they really running the offense? Are they really the point man? Many times, Draymond Green is the point guard for the Golden State Warriors during the championship run. Curry and Clay on the wings, you pass them the pill, and they go to work. So I still think Magic's in a league of his own. Magic Johnson with Stockton and Isaiah Thomas, Chris Paul, Rajon Rondo, all these shoot first point guards, I have a hard time putting them in the same category as Magic Johnson and Stockton and them guys. So I don't agree that Steph Curry is better than Magic Johnson. They're two different type of players. I believe Curry is the best shooter of all time. Is he top 10 in my GOAT list? I still think he's about 12. Because he does not have a defensive presence. And that's because he's small. That's the same thing with my favorite player, Allen Iverson. Small guys, all they can do is get steals. They can't block shots, can't stop anybody from scoring. They can be a pest and be in the passing lanes. Not that Magic Johnson was the greatest defender of all time, but he was 6'9". So it's not like he was going to get bullied in the paint. So for me, Curry is still where he was before the gold medal. He has made a dent in GOAT of this generation, and that LeBron James was not hands down the best player during his era. It's KD and Curry chomping at the bit. But who's the best player during this era? Even though it's still, to me, it's still LeBron, but Steph has made a huge dent in that. Frazier said he's been dyeing it all 2 years. His beard, well, he didn't dye this gray part right here. He looked like a wolf. He looked like Michael Jackson Thriller. The rhythm and the rebel. Without a pause, I'm lowering my level. The hard rhymer. You want styling? You know it's time to get deep. I had it early, and I definitely prayed that it wasn't my last days. COVID was definitely real. I'm not fond of that shot, though. My body hasn't been right since. It changed our DNAs. I'm sure of it. Because I've never gotten sick. I've been a perfect attendance person my whole life. Now I get sick every other month. So I know something's different. SG believes Curry is a shooting guard. I agree. The Joker is a point guard. He stands at the top of the paint and he orchestrates. He's not a center. He's a center guard. Like he's a center point forward, point center. Can go to the cup whenever he wants to. Step out, shoot three. He's at the high post. It's like UCLA, 1967. All right, so we mentioned breakdancing. Ozone is not pleased with what he saw. Overall, if you watched any of the breakdancing competition, I was hoping to see some bros breaking. So yeah, what we thought we was gonna see versus what we saw.
And God ain't pleased. They done added breakdancing to the Olympics. But who sent her with these moves? What country? This is diabolical, and I don't even like using that word no more. If I would know y'all was doing this, I could have joined the Olympics. What are you doing? What was that? What is that, the Tyrannosaurus?
So this young lady, Rachel Gunn, says she learned to break dance in 37 minutes. It's gonna be a no for me, Simon Cowell. It's gonna be a no. I can't. And of course, people are coming for her, and they're saying that we should not be talking crazy about her. She made it. I'm like, well, who did she beat? We're talking about the culture. This will be on the Collective Podcast this week. They have to talk about this on the culture. Breakdancing is a creative art form of pop locking, gymnastics, body control, rhythm. The fact that she was able to have the stage, and I watched her routine. She tried to implement some up rocking in there, some knee sliding. She tried to do half a head spin. She just wasn't good. And her 37 minutes of training, my boy Byron Martin sent that out. And I said, 37 minutes, man. That's like she watched Darren's Dance Grooves. Like, what in the Darren's Dance Grooves is going on here? This right here, I don't know what that is. And you watched her pre-dance smile, like she was about to get it. And it felt like a skit, man. It felt like we were being like punked. And I probably am okay to kind of believe this is why the 2028 Olympics will not include breakdancing. Because there's no way you're going to have a breakdancing competition without anybody from New York, Black or Puerto Rican, LA, Black or Mexican. All the pop locking and breakdancing battles we had at the Boys Club, battling the East Side branch versus the West Side branch, and we would have a big circle of dudes, cardboard boxes, parachute pants, bandanas, cut up shirts, and we be breaking. And if you had sorry moves, your friends would let you know. They made movies about breakdancing. And they went out there and let them play around with it. Joker has the ugliest moves, but he's effective. Joker, man, he's one of a kind. He would have got abused by Young Shaq. He would have got abused by Akeem Olajuwon. But this day in age where you can't do a whole lot of touching. And I like the Olympic rules, man. They were physical. They didn't call a lot of the tic-tac fouls. And then the ball on the rim, I think I like that too. That ball bouncing around the rim, get the ball out of here. They could have at least had some founders as judges or incorporated founding analysis or analysts with the announcers, or had DJs who really connected the hip-hop to the dancing. But they failed on all fronts, and I found it completely disrespectful to the culture. I don't think they even took that into consideration, man. The fact that they said you don't know the music that's going to be played. Why not? Why not bring out that person's song so that they can get down to the music they like to get down to? Just like gymnastics, floor exercise. I think they did have some like breakdancing champion judges, but I'm not sure if they publicized the tryouts. They could have had the Long Beach Time Bandits on there, and they would have did something. Pierre and his boys out there pop locking. I don't know, man. They don't let you play your own music, and they dropped the ball on that. AC2 said, I think breakdancing is being discontinued. Yeah, they are. They're not doing it in 2028. It was a glorified SNL skit. They're gonna make fun of this for at least 2 more weeks. At least replace breakdancing with sea walking. Now you're talking. Crip walking is universal now. Everybody is doing it from B2K to Serena Williams. That would be interesting. They would have to have Dub C as a judge. Dub C and Snoop Dogg would be judges. I think that'd be a hit. It would not be for an actual gold medal. Those officials were atrocious. The whole thing was atrocious, man. I owe Happy Boy Laura $2 because female boxer Iman Khalif won gold in the 66 kilogram weight division of the Olympic women's boxing gold medal event. So she went ahead and won. She is tender love too because she is now suing for, is it internet verbal abuse? Newsflash. You're a public figure. You're an athlete competing in the Olympics. You're gonna face some haters, especially when you have the situation that you have. So, I'm not sure who you expect to sue or blame for the treatment you have, and who could have stopped trolls. How do you stop internet trolls? They're unstoppable. They're coming for you. We're over it. You say you're a woman, you're a woman. But since everybody's not buying it, they're gonna come for you. So good luck trying to sue the Olympic Committee. Jordan Childs. Shame on the judges of the Olympic gymnastics governing bodies, or whoever is in charge of the appeals. 4 seconds too late with the appeal. And they're going to strip Jordan Childs of her bronze. Now, what would you do? They come into your house to get the bronze medal. Mysteriously, I can't find it. You have to help me find it. It's here somewhere. I'm glad they had their moment on the podium. She won in the eyes of America. She won the bronze medal. Simone Biles got the silver, and Rebecca Adranji got the gold. And they had their all-black girl podium. You can't take that away. Now, did she or did she not score higher than the two young ladies that they're going to award the bronze to? She did, but she did not appeal fast enough. 4 seconds too late. So, in theory, she won. So, she should make it very hard for them to get that medal from her. Eventually, she has to give it up, but make it tough. They got to come find it. I don't know where it is. I threw it in the river out of anger. Because I feel like you guys are just wrong on every level. If you tied in the high jump and had the option to have a jump off or go home with a gold medal split, what would you do? Shelby McEwen and Hamish Kerr both jumped 7'8" and 3/4, causing them to be tied. Both gold medals. It's over with. 2020, Mutaz Barshim and Gianmarco Tiberi tied and both took home the gold medal. Went back to their respective home countries as gold medalists. Shelby McEwen of the United States versus Hamish Kerr of New Zealand had a moment to make a decision. We both go home gold medalists, or we have a jump off. Kissing cousins, or getting yourself a real girlfriend. I wasn't mad in the moment, but you know your body. And the guy from New Zealand did not do the last jump. He ran underneath the bar and took a scratch. So he has one less jump tired. It took 8 jumps for them to get back down to 7'8". For McEwen missed, and now it's do or die. And he goes home with the silver medal. He's still happy about it. You still won a silver medal, but you could have had gold. And I don't think anybody would have been mad because he PR'd at 7'8" and 3/4. That was as high as he's ever jumped. Going to the comments, as G said, it was cyberbullying. Yeah, but who are you gonna blame for cyberbullying? That's the dark and negative world we live in, where people would want to cause someone to go into depression, to cause someone to be suicidal. Let people live. It's over with. Brady said, I told you she would win. You did. So I owe you $2 too. I just thought it would be too much fanfare, and the backlash that she has received is why she's suing the Olympic Committee. And I'm pretty sure I'm saying that wrong, whoever she's suing. But again, how do you control trolls? You shut down your social media and don't watch. As G said, jump off, hands down. You got to go for the win. Somebody got to win. Somebody got to be the best. Somebody got to be the baddest. That's a t-shirt. I think that's what's old boy, the bodybuilder. It's still your set. Somebody got to be the baddest. Dr. Frazier said he would have taken the split. Give me my gold medal, man. That's $37,000 in America. And I'm sure in New Zealand, it's probably $200,000. You just lost money. That is Bush League. You might as well take your sister to the prom. It doesn't count. You need to compete until the end to see who is the true champion of the event. That's the Rubio method. All or nothing. We got to see who is the best. Do you get anything for silver medal? Maybe he needed the money. Maybe he needed 37K. In this case, he said, screw it. I'm going for the win, even though he wasn't even close. After that one PR, he wasn't even getting over the bar anymore. He should have knew his body was shutting down. How many times did they jump? They jumped at least 12 times each, right? Throughout the whole competition. I did the high jump. After about 7 or 8 jumps, that knee starts getting tender. And that thigh gets a little weak. Your calves start getting a little tight. Your lower back begins to tighten up. And now you're trying to go to your technique. And it's going to get a little bit harder to get up and PR again. So they start putting the bar down lower and lower. And he ends up losing. But the reason why he went for it, he's a former basketball player who got into high jumping late. And he was at the 2020 games in Tokyo. He came in 12th place. And he watched Mutaz and Gianmarco share the gold. And he thought that was Bush League, like Rubio said. And if he ever had that opportunity, he would have a jump off. And this is what the outcome is. So, you want to be on a group project, or you want to have all credit? You want to be Halliburton on the bench getting a gold medal, or you want to be starting and a contributor on the silver team? I don't know. Frazier said if you both could get $1 million, or would you put your $1 million up for $2 million or nothing? Ooh-wee. $1 million each, or double or nothing. I have to say, look, I can't jump any higher, and I'm not sure if I can jump 7, 8 again. I'm maxed out. I'm tapped out. I'm tired. I'm taking my $1 million and go. I'll see you next Olympics. If you put it that way, that's what I'm doing. Sharing the win. But for $37,000 and to be crowned champion, I think I'm with Rubio. Kind of Bush League, I'm going a different route. Rubio says, great show. Off to the ride with Chevy and Nasty. That's where I'm going next. As I get ready to cut out of here, my mental reps. Utilize your support system. Man, sports are hard enough, man. Life is hard enough. Remember, no matter what you get yourself into, no matter what's going on in your life, there are people who love you and want to see you succeed. And that success may not look like what you think it's supposed to look like. When you saw Anna Hall in the heptathlon come up just short, coming in 5th place, her family was still there, encouraging her, rooting for her, telling her how much they are so proud of her. But she was like, I didn't medal. I came up short. And they were like, no, you won. You're the 5th best in the world. And you have to understand that. And that's probably what kept her smiling. That's what's going to keep her marketable. Simone Biles, her family was here, so she was able to perform. Where 2020, there were no fans, so she couldn't perform. She didn't have her support system. You imagine this is a young lady who was an orphan and probably didn't know what love was. But her support system, Jonathan Owens being able to leave football camp to go be with his wife in the Olympics because his coach is cool enough to see that's a big deal. She was able to tap into her support system. Sha'Carri's family comes and she's able to support, be supported by Big Mama and all of her family. LeBron James' family's at the game and he's able to handshake with his kids and have that sense of family all the way in Paris. And even here on the home front. Not just for my athletes, just for support groups, period. Friends, associates. Supporting one another is huge. And allowing someone to support you, allowing someone to give you some advice. There's nothing wrong with going to somebody and saying, hey man, can you help me with this? Man, when you see me play, is there anything that I could do better? And before you know it, that is your mentor. And that person is Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. You would think they'll be the most fierce adversaries. Kobe Bryant says, yo, MJ, how do you do your baseline turnaround when someone's elbow is in your kidney? Young fella, you're sincere, I'll let you know what to do. I'll give you some support. Your support system comes from different places all the time. So use them. Don't turn them away. Use them. All right, I think I've covered everything on my list. Anything else that I might have forgotten? Let me take a look real quick. I think I got them all. I did have a moment at 7-Eleven. A little piece of nostalgia. Had a strawberry shortcake. That thing was $3.29. An ice cream that I used to get off the ice cream truck for 75 cents was $3.29. I still bought it because I wanted it. It was hot outside. I wanted the strawberry shortcake. Tragic, man. Tragic. How is the strawberry shortcake $4, man? Unreal, man. SG, appreciate you, man. Check out the Collective Podcast with SG and AC from LA. Check out the Rubio Method. Decades, Time Is Now, Sucker Punch, all the brotherhoods of podcasts. I'm AC. This is AC Sports Live. I appreciate you guys. We'll see you next time. Same bat channel, same bat place. I'm out.